After 60, 3 vegetables that repair and 3 that destroy kidney health. After 60. If you are over 60, today you need to know the 3 vegetables you should eat to support your kidneys and the 3 vegetables you should stay away from before they quietly leave your body feeling more and more exhausted. Even more concerning, you can lose nearly 90% of your kidney function before any clear symptoms appear. No pain, no alarms, no obvious warning signs, only a slow, silent decline until one day a test result reveals the uncomfortable truth. Your kidneys are slowly dying. I am not telling you this to frighten you unnecessarily, but to help you understand how choices that seem healthy may be affecting your kidneys. And coming up next, we will begin with the first vegetable that many people eat every day without realizing they need to be careful. The reason you need to be careful is that after 60, especially if you have kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, or a declining eGFR, your kidneys may no longer handle excess minerals as efficiently as they once did. And sometimes the problem is not the vegetable itself. The problem is the portion size, the way it is prepared, and how concentrated it becomes. A few slices of fresh vegetables are very different from a thick bowl of sauce or a glass of juice that contains many times more vegetables than you realize. Before we begin, let me know in the comments, are you dealing with kidney problems, high potassium, high blood pressure, or diabetes? I always read the comments so I can better understand what you are going through. And if you want more simple, practical health guidance for life after 60, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Now, let's begin with the first vegetable that many people still eat every day because they believe it is completely healthy. Vegetable you must avoid number 1. Concentrated tomatoes. The first one is tomatoes, but listen carefully because I am not saying that a few fresh tomato slices in a salad will immediately harm your kidneys. What you need to be especially careful with is concentrated tomato products. Thick tomato sauce, tomato paste, canned tomato soup, ketchup, and meals covered in a heavy layer of red sauce. Why? Because when tomatoes are cooked for a long time, the water evaporates, but the minerals inside become packed into a smaller amount of food. Imagine it this way. You may only eat 2 or 3 slices of tomato in a salad, but in a bowl of thick sauce, you may be consuming the equivalent of several tomatoes at once without realizing it. And one of the most concerning minerals for people with weak kidneys is potassium. Your body needs potassium for muscle function, nerve signals, and a steady heartbeat. But when your kidneys no longer filter well, excess potassium can build up in your blood. The scary part is that your kidneys often do not hurt. You may only feel more tired, have muscle weakness, feel dizzy, or notice your heartbeat acting strangely from time to time, and most people simply blame it on aging. Imagine a 68-year-old man trying to eat healthier. He gives up hamburgers, cuts back on fried foods, and starts making spaghetti at home. He uses olive oil, herbs, and a lot of tomato paste because he believes a homemade meal must be better than fast food. But what he does not know is that every plate of pasta may contain a large amount of concentrated tomato. If his kidneys are already weak and his blood potassium is rising, that meal that looks healthy may be adding more pressure to his body every week. That is the trap. You are not doing anything that looks dangerous. You are simply repeating a choice that seems healthy day after day. So, if you are over 60 and your doctor has warned you about high potassium or declining kidney function, be careful with thick tomato sauces used too often. Do not cover your pasta plate with sauce. Do not use tomato paste as the main ingredient in every meal. And do not assume canned tomato soup is always a light choice just because it is made from vegetables. Instead, reduce the portion and use more onion, garlic, basil, parsley, or roasted red bell pepper for flavor. But concentrated tomatoes are only the first one. The second one is even more common. It appears at family dinners, restaurants, fast food meals, and is almost impossible to miss on the Thanksgiving table. Many people believe that as long as it is not fried in oil, it must be completely safe. And that is the mistake. Vegetable you must avoid number 2, potatoes. The second one is potatoes. Potatoes are soft, warm, easy to eat, and deeply familiar. Many people over 60 have given up French fries, but still eat baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, or sweet potatoes every day because they think these are healthier versions. But for someone with weak kidneys, the problem is not only the oil. The problem is also potassium. One large baked potato can contain a significant amount of potassium. And if you also eat mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, or roasted potatoes in the same meal, the total potassium can rise very quickly. Picture a Thanksgiving dinner plate. A scoop of mashed potatoes, a little sweet potato casserole, a few pieces of roasted red potatoes. Each item looks like a small portion, but when you add them together, you may be eating much more potato than you think. And later, if your body feels tired, your legs feel weak, or your heartbeat becomes irregular, you may never suspect that familiar food on the table. You might say, "But I didn't eat anything bad." That is true. Potatoes are not bad food for everyone. But if your doctor has told you that your potassium is high or your kidney function is declining, a large serving of potatoes may be something you should not touch. In particular, avoid 3 common mistakes. The first mistake is eating an entire large baked potato. The second mistake is eating several potato dishes in the same meal. And the third mistake is believing that sweet potatoes are always safer than white potatoes just because they have a healthier image. If your doctor still allows you to eat potatoes, the portion and preparation method must be controlled. Potatoes can be peeled, cut into small pieces, soaked in water, and then boiled in fresh water to reduce some of the potassium. But remember this clearly. Preparation does not turn potatoes into an unlimited food. A small portion is still a small portion. And later, I will show you a vegetable that can replace mashed potatoes while still feeling soft, warm, and easy to eat. But before we get to that vegetable, we need to talk about the third one. This may be the most dangerous one on the list, not because people eat too much of it in one meal, but because they juice it and drink a large amount in just a few seconds. Vegetable you must avoid number 3, concentrated beets. The third one is beets, especially in the form of juice, powder, or concentrated beet shots. Beets have a deep red color, a natural sweetness, and are often promoted as a superfood. Many people drink beet juice every morning because they believe it detoxifies the body, boosts energy, and supports circulation. But if you are over 60, have declining kidney function, a history of kidney stones, or need to control potassium, concentrated beet products may not be right for you. Beets contain potassium and oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds that can bind with calcium and contribute to crystal formation in some people. The problem becomes bigger when beets are turned into juice. A small glass may contain more beets than you would ever sit down and eat in one meal, but because it is liquid, you can finish it in just a few sips. You do not feel full. You do not realize how much you have consumed, and you still believe you are doing something good for your body. Imagine 2 people drinking the same bottle of beet shot. The first person is 30 years old, healthy, and has normal kidney function. The second person is 68 years old, has high blood pressure, takes several medications, and has a reduced kidney filtration rate. Same bottle of juice, but 2 bodies may handle it very differently. That is why you should not follow every detox trend you see online. Not everything that has a beautiful color is called natural or is sold in a health food store is right for your kidneys. If you have been diagnosed with kidney disease or have had kidney stones, avoid turning beet juice, beet powder, or beet shots into a daily habit. If your doctor allows it, a small amount of whole beets may be easier to control than the concentrated form. And here is what you need to remember after the first 3 foods. You do not necessarily need to fear all vegetables. You need to avoid forms that are too concentrated, portions that are too large, and foods that do not match your lab results. Because next, we are going to move into 3 vegetables you should eat. 3 simple, easy-to-find choices that do not require you to spend money on any expensive detox product. The first one may replace the very mashed potatoes that so many people do not want to give up. Vegetable you should eat number 1, cauliflower. The first vegetable you should add to your meals is cauliflower. Cauliflower does not have a bright, flashy color. It is not sold in expensive juice bottles, and it is rarely called a miracle food. But for people who need to control potassium, it can be one of the most practical replacement choices. The biggest benefit of cauliflower is that it can replace the soft, warm, filling feeling of mashed potatoes. Picture 2 plates. On one side, there is a large mound of mashed potatoes. On the other side, there is cauliflower steamed until soft, mashed smoothly with a little olive oil, garlic, and pepper. Both are warm. Both are easy to eat. Both can be served with fish, chicken, or a main dish at dinner. But cauliflower may be a better option for many people who need to reduce potassium in their meals. You can steam cauliflower until tender and mash it. You can roast it until the edges turn golden for a deeper flavor. Or you can add it to soups, stir-fries, and family meals. The important thing is that cauliflower helps you replace potatoes without making your meal feel empty or punishing, because no eating plan can last long if every meal makes you feel like you are being punished. You do not need to give up satisfaction. You just need to change the ingredient that creates that satisfaction. But cauliflower only helps solve the potato problem. What if you love the red color, sweetness, and thickness of tomato sauce? The next vegetable may help you create a new kind of sauce that many people over 60 have never thought of. Vegetable you should eat number 2, red bell pepper. The second vegetable is red bell pepper. Many people only use a few slices of bell pepper to decorate a salad. But when roasted, red bell pepper can become something completely different. Under high heat, the flesh softens, the natural sweetness becomes stronger, and the aroma starts to fill the kitchen. After removing the skin, you can blend roasted red bell pepper with garlic, onion, olive oil, and a few herbs to create a smooth red sauce. It gives you color, sweetness, and aroma without depending completely on tomato paste or thick tomato sauce. You can use this sauce with pasta, chicken, fish, or vegetable dishes. You can also eat red bell pepper raw in salads, lightly sauté it, or roast it with your main dish. The most important thing is that red bell pepper helps your meals stay colorful, because many people think eating for kidney health means eating bland, colorless food with no joy left in it. But that is not true. You can still enjoy your meals. You simply need to create flavor with ingredients that are more suitable for you. Next time you are about to pour a large amount of tomato sauce over a plate of pasta, try replacing part of it with roasted red bell pepper sauce. It is not a huge change, but when repeated over dozens or hundreds of meals, that small change can make a real difference. However, there is one more problem. When you reduce canned sauces, processed foods, and high-sodium meals, food can start tasting bland. And that is why the final item on this list may be one of the cheapest but most useful ingredients in your kitchen. Food you should eat, number 3. Garlic. The final one is garlic. Garlic is small, inexpensive, and available in almost every grocery store. But the most practical power of garlic is not that it is some kind of miracle cure. The real power of garlic is that it creates a strong flavor without requiring you to add too much salt. This is especially important for people with kidney disease or high blood pressure. When you eat too much sodium, your body may hold on to more fluid. That can contribute to swollen legs, higher blood pressure, and more work for both your heart and kidneys. But reducing salt is not easy. If you have eaten salty foods for many years, low-salt meals can taste bland and hard to enjoy. Garlic can help solve that problem. Imagine a bowl of mashed cauliflower. Without seasoning, it may taste plain and unappealing. But when you add garlic, pepper, and a few herbs, the aroma changes immediately. You no longer feel like you are eating sick person food. You are simply eating a meal seasoned in a smarter way. You can add garlic to soups, sautéed vegetables, mashed cauliflower, red pepper sauce, fish, or chicken. When you mince or crush fresh garlic, let it rest for a few minutes before cooking. Then cook it over moderate heat and avoid burning it black. But remember this very clearly. Garlic does not replace medication. It does not cure kidney disease, and you should never stop taking blood pressure medicine, blood thinners, or any medication your doctor prescribed just because you started eating more garlic. The value of garlic is that it helps you rely less on salt while still keeping food flavorful. That is not a replacement for treatment. It is a way to support your body with a simple, natural, and low-cost habit. Now, remember the 6 choices we covered today. The 3 foods you need to be careful with in the wrong form are concentrated tomatoes, large portions of potatoes, and beets in juice or concentrated powder form. The 3 foods you may want to add to your meals are cauliflower, red bell pepper, and garlic. But there is still one final thing you absolutely need to know, because even a vegetable considered kidney-friendly can become the wrong choice if the portion size, your medications, or your lab results do not match. And in the next part, I will show you a simple 3-step rule to help you decide whether to keep, reduce, or replace a food before putting it on your plate. Now you know the 3 vegetables you need to be especially careful with after 60. Concentrated tomatoes, large portions of potatoes, and beets in juice or concentrated powder form. You also know 3 simple choices that can make your meals gentler. Cauliflower to replace part of the potatoes, red bell pepper to reduce your dependence on thick tomato sauce, and garlic to create flavor without using too much salt. But the most important thing is not memorizing a food list. The most important thing is understanding that after 60, your body may no longer process the same foods the way it did when you were younger. A food called healthy can still become a burden if the portion is too large, if it is used in a concentrated form, or if it does not match your lab results. So, before each meal, remember these 3 simple steps. Check your kidney condition and potassium level. Reduce foods that are too concentrated or portions that are too large, and replace them with gentler choices that are easier to maintain. You do not need to change your entire life in one day. Start with one small choice. Use less tomato sauce. Choose a smaller portion of potatoes, skip your daily beet juice, or try mashed cauliflower at your next dinner. Because health after 60 is not protected by one miracle food. It is protected by the right choices repeated meal after meal. However, everyone's health condition is different. If you have kidney disease, high potassium, diabetes, high blood pressure, or are taking medication, do not stop your medicine or change your diet too quickly on your own. Talk to your doctor or a renal dietitian to understand what is truly right for your body. If today's video helped you understand food and kidney health more clearly, let us know in the comments. Out of the 3 changes today, will you start with cauliflower, red bell pepper, or garlic? And subscribe to the channel, because here we share simple, practical, easy-to-follow nutrition guidance to help you live healthier, stronger, and more independently after 60. Remember this: your kidneys may be silent, but every choice on your plate sends them a message. And starting with your very next meal, you can begin sending them a better one.